Hello, welcome to Kurt's morning exercise hour. I'm your host, Kurt, and so today we're going to do our morning movement contemplation. I like to take moments of free time to contemplate movement. How does my mind influence reality? Right? Like I'm just sitting here alone and I can control this body. That's pretty crazy. So, when you're doing movement contemplation, you're studying how your mind tractions into reality, and you're throwing out doing things for the sake of difficulty or doing things for the sake of performing the movement, and you're looking at the actual movement itself, not the performance, not the shape, and not the difficulty. So that doesn't mean that you take away weights or resistance necessarily, but you conceptualize resistance in a fundamentally different way. So we look at it and we go, what is resistance? What happens when I attach this extra weight to my limbs? So extra weight to my legs, extra weight to my limbs. And if you look at it, you'll see that just like if I was in water, right, and I lift my arm, there's going to be so much resistance, right? But if I attach this to my hand and I lift it, I feel extra pressure, extra resistance. I'm tractioning into something a little bit more strongly, and what you're tractioning into is the gravitational field. So when you pick up a weight, it's the same as putting fins or paddles or webbing on the end of the hand and then moving it. And you'll see that the gravitational field it's flowing that way. And this is like opening a parachute, or opening a fin, or opening a sail, and it gets pulled more strongly by gravity. And so when you realize that that's what's happening, you use these weights to more firmly attach yourself or move through the gravitational field, right? And the gravitational field is all around you, but normally the only thing that you're interacting with is the part that's like actually hitting you. So the field is all around you, you're in the field, and it's everywhere is going down. Just like if you were in a pool, or if you're in a river and the river's flowing at you, you only interact with the part of the river that's there, even though there's a whole river. And if you are able to perceive that you're in a continuous field, and you understand that the field is here where it's hitting me, but the field is also in the space around me. Once you're cognizant of that perceptual shift, then you start to be able to, you realize that you're swimming through the water. It's not just happening to me right here. Actually, the water is all around, and I can use the water to push. Right? If I propel myself forward, I'm using the entirety of the whole body of water, because that's where the pressure is going into. Like if you're going to swim, when you press on the water, you're pressing on the whole field when you're swimming. So to open up that ability movement-wise, right? This is the big trick, is that you shift your perception of the gravitational field from weight to it's an interaction that I'm having with a medium that has a kind of current in it. And so you can feel that weight in the medium. it makes it a little easier to swim in the medium. In fact, balance, balance is buoyancy. Just like you can be in a medium and there's a current to it, there's always buoyancy in a medium. No matter what medium you're in, if you're in the medium, it's providing you buoyancy. So even though gravity is pushing in a certain direction, because you're in the field of gravity, it's also lifting you. And if you feel that lift, if you feel that buoyancy, everywhere that you feel the buoyancy is rock solid balance. Balance comes from buoyancy. So as long as you feel the buoyancy, the posture is super rock solid. But balance doesn't come from structural alignment of like, oh, I'm getting all of my weight to like go into my footprint in the right location, and it's like all my weight is centered, and because all my weight is centered, I'm balanced. It's not how it works whatsoever. The only balance that you have is in the noticing of the immersion in the gravitational field. Just like you can, if you're in the pool and you notice that you're immersed in it and you give your weight over to it, you actually kind of float. If you don't notice that you're in the pool, or you don't notice that it's floating your weight, there's thrashing, there's struggling, there's looking for ground, there's no swimming, because you're not able to put your weight into the field. Right? Like if you're sinking in the pool or in the water, that's because you're not able to actually get your weight onto the field. If the weight is on the field of the pool, then you're supported because your body is resting on something. You have to rest on the water in order to float. And that's happy. You can't not float. Like the water is automatically giving you buoyancy. Any field that you're in is automatically giving you buoyancy, no matter how much you thrash, no matter how much you do. But you have to find the buoyancy and connect that buoyancy to what you want to be doing. Right? Which the most simple way to do that is to just stand still and have the field or have the space support you. And it's just a little bit. Like buoyancy in the pool is like very slight. It's just enough to float you. And so it's the difference between this is like very, very similar to differences in swimming ability, differences in floating ability. It's very hard to like mechanically tease out like, oh, that there is why you're not balancing well. And so then when you have buoyancy, you want to learn how to move without losing the buoyancy as you go through the movement. Like I get overwhelmed if I'm like got too much weight, or if I'm doing an inversion. But within a certain range of motion, I can maintain I can keep my feel of the water, or keep my feel of gravity. And so that feel of gravity is like my weight, because that's the direction that the thing's going. But also it's the buoyancy of the whole field because I'm in it. And so people don't necessarily have to understand this, just like you don't have to understand buoyancy to learn how to swim very well. You don't really have to understand it. Like kids can swim and they don't understand anything, right? So people can have balance and they don't understand anything. They're kind of unrelated. But putting weights on is very similar to putting fins on or putting paddles on for swimming. it lets you, it gives you something more to push off of. Like if you kick, you have more resistance, but it also, if you relax, it makes it easier to grab onto the field, because it is grabbing onto the field more. And if I go beyond my flexibility limit or my strength thing, like if I get in a posture that requires too much strength or the position's too extended, the water in the body basically gets locked or stretched too thin to support a wave or to support information going through, and that makes it like the end of my range of motion, because if I go any further or tense any harder, it'll separate my body awareness into two or more chunks, and then that in-between space is uncontrolled, or there's no awareness, so you lose the ability to think about this coherently, or you lose the ability to feel it. And traditional training, like traditional Western training, often really like literally it takes that fragmentation point, because that's the failure. That's where your mind is failing. And you'll do like exercises and reps to like burn in that failure in the body, and so you get like muscular adaptation so that the failure point goes away. You're trying to build enough muscle that you can be relaxed in a certain position. And then, but since people aren't looking for the result of that relaxation, like you would do strength training in order to be relaxed so that you can keep your conscious awareness coherent without tension breaking you into two. Because more muscle means you can less tension in any particular movement. But since people aren't looking for that, you'll develop more muscle, and then you continue to drive into the failure point or keep doing more and more tension, and you're getting like massive amounts of tension in relatively basic postures, like standing, doing this stuff. It's not even getting massive amounts of tension in a way that would maybe be somewhat useful, of like, oh, I'm gonna figure out how to get so much muscle that I can be totally splayed out in this direction and then simultaneously relaxed, allowing me to like maintain control in a very high stress, strange position, like posture or situation. It's just training in the failure over and over and over to get the muscles. And it's, a certain amount of muscles is definitely required for some postures or some positions to be relaxed enough to maintain control, but not a lot. And again, people will be like, oh, what posture, like more advanced pose. And they're looking at the pose development and not like how buoyant are you, like how supported are you? Because it's way better to like practice what you can do with your buoyancy in like, you don't need very complex movement patterns to develop really good swimming power or like really good ability to move through a field. And you want to be able to feel the field, so like, balance postures or whatever at a low level of difficulty are great for retraining the mind to to remember that it's in a field. But then after that point, it's like, oh, what are the field pushing movements? And it's like, it's just stuff like this, like very, very simple things let you remain connected and moving and swimming. You don't have to have like hyper flexibility or anything to start developing the swimming skill. It's just a recognition of the buoyancy. And all of this stuff overlaps strongly with the water of the body, with gravity, with your awareness. And so as you do this mechanically with gravity, you'll find yourself centering in the field of water in the body and centering in the field of your mind. So this is all this is synonymous with mental centering. Like if you're not mentally centered, your balance isn't. It's the degree to which you're not mentally centered is like how much this sort of thing happens, because your mind's like going all over, and you don't know how to float in it anyway. So there's constant swimming and counter correction. Whereas like mental centering is like, I'm floating no matter what the wave pattern's doing. It doesn't change how the water supports an object in it, or how any field supports an object in the field. The displacement, if you're an object and you're displacing any type of field, then that displacement causes a lift. Exactly like you see in like hot air balloons, boats, fish. Fusion dance. Anyway.